Hi there, this is Daryl Olson from Jackson Fishing Team. I'm on their fishing team staff for South Carolina, but I'm up here in Conway, New Hampshire, and doing a little smallmouth fishing on in Conway Lake back behind me here. Maybe some other perch, things like that. But this afternoon, I'm planning to go out to do look for some brooks or browns, rainbows. I hear the rainbows are hitting on the Saco River, so I'll probably go down there. And of course, being late September, early October, late August, early September, and the hoppers and the ant patterns are what's happening on the rivers or on the ponds and things like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to tie a Flagler Mop Hopper and on there, and it should be kind of fun to tie. It's made primarily out of mop material and foam, and we'll get started on this. So that's what we're going to tie. And the hook we're going to use is a dry fly TMC 2312 in a size 8. And of course, what we'll normally do is, as most trout waters require a barbless hook, or it's much easier to get the hook out if they get it in a little bit further. That way, that it's not as much stress on the fish, so it makes a quicker release. And then I'm going to use some Donnell, some green thread. I don't know how good this is working to do this out on our little perch. They call it a perch. It's like a dock, but where 6 or 7 people can sit. But anyway, we're out here on the perch, and using my Orion cooler as my workbench, and of course enjoying a Tuckerman since I'm here in Conway, a Headwall Alt. I like their German style beer, and of course there's a lot of other little breweries, but they're kind of like the original one for Conway. They're located in North Conway. I don't know if they're still doing tours, but we'll take that back to the barb of the hook. And then, since it's a mop, you got to go get yourself a mop material at your grocery store or Menards or Lowe's or wherever. And we're going to take one of these sections off the mop. Or you can maybe just take a couple sections off your wife's mop. And what we're going to do is we're going to just put a little bit of cement or super glue right where it's going to go, so that'll prevent it from spinning around. And there's no set formula on how far back, just so that Give it a couple wraps. Keep making sure that it's up there. And then we're going to fold this back and we're going to wrap forward. Approximately so that we're 1/4 of a length of the hook away from behind the eye. And then we're going to take some more of our cement here and just coat the top of those threads so that we can tie in see if we can get rid of some of that fuzz, so when we do our head thing it's a good part. And then we'll go back to that 1/4. And that's part of our doing a little prep work here for the fly. We're going to tie you're going to want to make sure you cut a piece of foam that's a hook length and gap length, and then 2 hook gaps in width on there. And then you're going to divide on 3 sides equal distance. Put a little pencil pen mark, and you're going to cut to make a home plate type shape, and that'll be the the head and body of the grasshopper. Next we're going to take the body that we made, which was that diamond shape on there. And what we're going to want to do, kind of fold it in half if you want, and it's kind of hard for me, but you're going to want to position it so that it's about right there like that, so that a little bit of it goes back below the hook shank. And I don't know if you can really see that, but we're going to think that you can. And then we're going to take our cement and we're just going to dab some right there like that. And then we're going to place that back on the hook. Like that. And then the reason why we were 1/4 back, we're going to wrap it, and this is going to become our head. And we're going to give that a couple wraps. And then we're going to give it a cross wrap over and give it a segmented our hopper body right there. Looking pretty good. And then at this point, you might want to go ahead and make your eyes. Use a black magic marker. I'm not very artsy, but there we go. Next we're going to do is I'm going to use some Hare's Ice Stub from this dispenser, and I'm going to use the Caddis-green And all I got, they got holes in the back, and I'm just going to pull out a little bit of dubbing. And we only want to do is put a dubbing in around that segment there to help hold the legs in. And I usually wet my fingers to help me out a little bit to noodle that around. And you only need like an inch, inch and a half of a noodle, so it doesn't take much. And we're just going to wrap that in there. Next we're going to do is the hind legs of the grasshopper. And I'm going to be using medium round brown rubber legs and lime green. I went through and I don't know if you can see it, but kind of made some markings on there. It doesn't seem to hold up for me when I'm getting ready to tie it, create the legs. But what we're going to do is going to separate 2 bars. For part of the legs, and then I'm going to divide these in half. Twice. And then the lime green ones here, we're gonna I only need a single strand. And we'll do the same thing there. We're going to divide these in half. And unfortunately what this does, it gives us 2 sets of legs, where here we've cut up 4 sets. So I'm gonna, I'll end up doing another single strand on that part. Next, what we'll do is we're gonna tie our legs to make a join. To make our join, so we're going to do a loop over about 1/2 of an inch. And we're going to in my case, struggle to try to make a knot here. And then the hole in place, I'm going to use some super glue or flat tires cement. I'm just going to brush a little bit of that on here. And I screwed that. Screwed that. So we'll try this again. This is why I like to prep this work. Now I got it all over my fingers. And then trim off the little excess which you can. And you can see that kind of creates an angle there, 90-degree angle on there. And then you'll flip it over, and we're going to struggle and do the same thing on this side. Maybe I'll be a little neater. And again, a little drop there, and retighten that up. By tugging on it to sit that in. And then trim off the excess. And then what we'll do is kind of cut this in half so that they're equal, close anyway. And then the legs are going to be like approximately a hook length. You know, you could take your piece of foam if you want to measure. And the same thing with the other one. And there you've got your legs. They're ready to go onto the grasshopper. So we'll next what we'll do is we'll start tying that up, and we'll get there. All right, on there, and that's going to help secure our legs that we made earlier. Our hopper legs that we made earlier, so we'll do that. Keep looking over, thinking that maybe I'm in a bad spot, but the sun's in front of me. And what we're going to do is we're going to position our hopper legs and secure them in place with one or two wraps there. And then our other hopper leg on my side. And this is where you might want to try to, you know, eyeball the line up that joint. And then what we'll do is we're going to come back over towards the head, cross wrap again. And then what we'll do is we're going to take those legs and we're going to cross them over there and then secure them right behind the head there. And then we can trim off that excess. And next what we're going to do is we're going to use some single strand green rubber legs. And create a loop. And we're going to tie this in on my side. I don't know why I showed you two sets, but give it kind of a loose, and then we can drag this over, and we're going to want to, I don't know if you'll be able to see it on the video, but we had used the two brown legs, and we want to do is we want to put the green ones in between where that seam is on those two. All right. Next we want to do is use this paracord post material as an indicator, but we're going to use it as a wing on our hopper. Now that. Oh, here's good. You need just about inch and a half to start with. And that post material is just going to extend a little bit back past behind that point. Make sure it sits on top of the and then we can trim off this part. And then to help hold it in place a little bit, we make some brighter orange disc to help us see it better on the water. And it also it'll flatten out that And what's great about this fly is there's really no tying, whip finishing on the tie on there. So what we'll do is we'll take our super glue or our Zap-A-Gap here or cement, and just put a little dab on top of there. And tighten that down. And then we just trim that off. And that'll hold that fly together. There's no whip finishing. Next, what we'll do is we're gonna the other parts of his leg, and then we're going to even those out. And there you have it, a mop hopper. And I'm hoping that maybe it'll catch a nice rainbow trout this evening. And other things. See, I've got a little mop hanging out here. I'll fix that. But yeah, it's a nice, quick, easy fly by Tim Flagler. And it should be a fly that catches fish. I hope you enjoyed my videos on tie flying and that, and we will hopefully, if we catch some trout this evening, we will include that in here. If not, it'll be some scenery of the Saco River anyway. All right, we'll see you on the water later, and thanks for watching. All right.